Hi guys, and welcome to another beer log. Today I'm sat down with Roman, founder and head brewer of Solvay Society. Now you may remember about 7 or 8 months ago, just at the end of 2017, we brewed a collaboration brew together, and it was an homage to a beer that we both really love, which is Straffe Wild, or Straffe Hendrik Wild, which is a Breton Tripel. To watch that video, that will come up at the end of this video, but we thought now that it's ready-ish, we'd sit down and talk about it. Now we had a launch a couple of months ago, a couple of weeks ago, which tasted completely different to what it does now, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. So even in that short time, we've had a few changes. I would say some for better, some for worse. So it's a beer that's constantly in flux. And I remember, as I was trying it, what was still in the brewery, still in tank, and looking at its progression, every week it was different.
So it took a lot longer to kind of come to fruition than we thought. We expected it to be ready maybe late Jan or early Feb, and it ended up, I think we launched it middle of March in the end.
Yeah.
But it still tasted like a very young beer.
It did, yeah. I mean, I think the initial fermentation was kind of done in the space of 2 weeks with the Saccharomyces yeast. But as soon as we pitched the Brett, that was kind of as we went into the winter, and then the brewery was quite cold throughout that period. So I think that might have led to quite a slow secondary fermentation. So it only really started expressing the really kind of barnyard funkiness that we might expect from Brett B. In January at some point.
And we'd loaded it, so we mashed in really low to try and get all of those really fruity, banana-y kind of esters, and they were still present in mid-March because the Brett didn't eat all of it.
Yeah, they were still pretty dominant, and it tasted still like a proper triple at that time. Still a bit of bubblegum lingering, all of those elements.
Yeah. So that's how it was then. It had lots of banana, bubblegum, really bready kind of brioche notes. That's how it was when we launched it. Now, what are you getting?
So it's a lot more herbal. Still a bit of bubblegum in there.
Well, thankfully it's still got that really creamy mouthfeel that it's just... There aren't many beers I've ever had that are that creamy. It's almost nitro, it's that smooth.
Yeah, it is very soft.
But the nose is much more herbal, much more... almost all valley. It's...
I think what I'm enjoying now compared to a few weeks ago is that I think some of the haziness has dropped out, which has led to a...
Still got a solid haze, but if you poured a whole bottle of Westmalle, you'd expect that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's within the parameters.
But I think you're getting a lot more alcohol on the top of the palate, but then also a lot more bitterness on the finish, which I think is really nice and kind of, again, maybe more reminiscent of Straffe Wild, which, although it's quite funky up front, is still quite bitter in the finish.
Yeah, I think, is that because as the sugar's eaten, the perceived bitterness has gone up?
I think again, some of the sweetness and the softness that we had initially has kind of faded and given way to more bitterness.
Much like we did a vertical tasting of all vowels, which went live a couple of weeks ago, and with that we were surprised by two things. One was how actually the oldest one tasted more bitter than the 9-monther. I think because all the sugar's gone, you just get that whack of bitterness, but also how it did come sort of in waves, which is exactly what this beer has done as well. Beer doesn't age in a linear kind of way.
No. There's so much variation even in a short space of time that I think that's one of the really nice things about making beers, that you're there for every point of it, and it's a kind of constant living thing, and moving into areas maybe that you didn't expect. I mean, that's particularly true of bread beers anyway. So
we're going to put the recipe for this beer up on the craftbeerchannel.com. So if you guys want to try at home, there's lots of new techniques and new ideas that you might not have done in your home brewing lives before. What tips would you give the people that are going to attempt this, given what we've learned?
Well, I think one of the things we found is that there was quite limited bread character initially, and it took a lot of time. So, planning with enough time to let that character develop. And the other thing is we found it a bit sweet, so trying to dry the beer out a little bit more, and looking at the mash schedule, mashing at a slightly lower temperature for a little bit longer and a bit less time at the higher kind of 72-degree rest will create a drier beer, and that might actually lead to more funky bread character a little bit quicker due to yeast stress.
So you're letting the Saccharomyces do a bit more work before the Brett comes in, and hopefully have a dry beer earlier.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, if you have any comments on the recipe or any questions, hit us up down below or on the website, and I'll make sure that I get the answers from Roman, or Roman will be watching. And otherwise, enjoy these two videos that are just popping up. One's your Wild tasting, and one is the original brew day we did with Roman. Cheers, thank you very much. Hope you make it again one day.
Thank you. Yeah, I will do.